You guys often ask, what is one of my least favorite cars to work on? Vans. So what we're putting in the van today is this guy here. It's a Rockford P312. It's got an amplifier in it. We've showed these before. This is gonna sound really good. He wants it in between the seats. We're also gonna put a new radio in, which can be a lot of fun. You have to drop the steering column. I know, right? Well, let's stop talking about it. Let's just do it. So when you put a radio in a van like this, the easiest thing to do so that you don't break the dash is to drop the steering column and remove the gear shifter. If you'd like a step-by-step on how to do this, we have a video for that, so check it out. We are gonna mount the Bluetooth mic though, which is gonna go somewhere down here on the A-pillar. Normally we like to put the Bluetooth mic over here by the mirror, but in a van you sit way back, you can't reach. So you wanna get as close to yourself as possible. So that's why we're gonna go up here. Now anytime we run a Bluetooth microphone through the car, we put loom over the wire just because this is such a thin wire and it runs through the dash. It makes it more noticeable if someone's gonna go in there and start tugging on stuff. Plus it insulates it. So what you got going on over there, Fernando?
Running the wires, ground. We actually make a long ground.
Yeah, but the reason why we did that is because he wants to be able to move the box around. So normally it's gonna sit here, but he also wants it to sit there. So we made an extra long umbilical cord for it. I'm guessing you're gonna use that cool factory ground point right there?
I'm gonna use this one right here, yeah.
How convenient.
I know, right?
We just got to get the RCAs and remote turn on, run up into the dash here, which can be a real pain in the butt in these. I recommend covering them in loom just because yeah, you're gonna want to do that if you're installing that, or tape it up, but it's a tight fit. For any of you guys ever working on one of these, that's the body control module there. That's where all the magic happens. Now you want to go ahead and turn it on and make sure that it works. The secret to doing an install on this are two things: dropping the column and removing the gear shifter. If you do those two things, it makes doing this radio semi-bearable. It's a lot of extra work, but you won't break the dash. All right, this one's done.
Let's go to the next one.
So if you have a Honda Pilot and you're gonna put a radio in it, there's two different dash kits for this car. And how you distinguish between the two is whether it has this beveled edge right here. If you look at yours, if it's flat and then it angles like this, you need a Metra dash kit. Metra is the only one that makes this beveled kit. Best Kits doesn't have it. They recommend an 828 kit, which is their universal double din. It's gonna be too small. All right, so the other thing too that's unique about a Honda Pilot, the blue plug here, this guy, this is a standard Honda plug here. These guys here, if it's got a subwoofer in it and it's a non-Bose system, the radio is what actually amplifies the subwoofer. There's no other amplifier in the car, so not only is it gonna provide power for all four corners, it provides the subwoofer amplifier. So if you're doing one of these and it's a non-Bose, you're gonna need to get a small sub amp. So here's the dash kit I was talking about. See how it has a slight bend right here? This is the other bracket that comes with the Metra. It actually comes with both. So if you go with the Metra kit, you're golden. As you can see, it's a little bit shorter over here. So you guys are gonna ask, what's the part number on that? There you go, 95-7861. we got it mounted in the dash. We're gonna, of course, as usual, power it up, make sure it works. Go ahead and set the clock. What's today?
Today is a bad day.
Today's the 27th, right? Set your color. All right, we can go ahead and finish this bad boy up. Now, one interesting thing about this, if you saw us hooking up the RCAs here, we're not actually putting in an amplifier in this guy's car. He's actually gonna do that. What he did is he bought his own wiring kit, and because we're putting the radio in, he asked us if we could dump his RCA and remote turn on. So we went ahead over here and dumped the RCA and the remote turn on for him so that he doesn't have to pull this back out or do anything like that. All right, so next up on the list, what do we got, Fernando?
Another truck.
That's right, we have a monster truck. Race fans, hot rodder. Anyways, we have a Chevy pickup. This is one of the most requested vehicles that we do. Unfortunately, the only thing we're doing is adding an amp. There's two different types of Chevy trucks. You have one that is called a high transmission and one called a low transmission. If you have the low transmission, you're awesome, that's great. You can put tons of bass underneath the seat. If you have the high transmission, kind of sucks. This one has a low transmission. And you can easily tell by flipping up the seats, you have a pretty much flat floor underneath here. What we're doing is we're putting in a Kicker CX 1201 on two 12s underneath this seat here. We're gonna build a bracket so that the amp can be mounted up here, out of the way. The seat will still open and close, no issues. So that's the plan for this one. Also, we just got a new present in the mail. Another GoPro. Hey. We have one, but we wanted another one so that we could free up this camera here from trying to do everything. We don't want to kill this camera. We're gonna get rid of the sessions that we were using because those suck. That's it, right? Yes. Eat your Subway.
Sorry.
All right, so the first thing we want to do is remove the jack. Now, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna use the jack. We're gonna slide it this way so that we can use the jack to hold our amp bracket. Now, our amp is gonna fit right up here. We're gonna make a panel that comes out, goes down, and then comes out to here because we also have to mount the high level with the low level here. So this will give us plenty of room to do that. So what we wanna do now is take some measurements so we can build our plate. Now, the maximum width we have is about 12 inches, but what we wanna do is copy how long we can come here. So we know we're gonna have to at least come out 7 inches and then go down. Figure about, say, 14 and a half by 12. So let's go cut us a piece of that. Okay, so for this install, we're gonna use 1/4 inch Sintra. You guys always ask about the plastic. This is the low temp stuff. It's going in the car, so it's no big deal. Now, what we've gone ahead is we've actually scored 2 lines in here on the table saw. They're, let's say, 1/3 of the way into the material. And what this is gonna be used for is where we're gonna bend it. You don't have to do this, but you get a much cleaner bend if you go ahead and do this. Now, bend it, we're gonna go ahead and use a torch. Now, the torch is nice as opposed to a heat gun because it directs the heat just to this one point that you're trying to heat up. Whereas the heat gun's gonna heat up way more material than necessary. And that's pretty much it. It's nice if you have something that you can rest it up against until it cools. Now, if you have like a damp cloth, you can rub a damp cloth over this and that'll cool it down a lot faster. Now we'll go ahead and while this is cooling, we'll start on the other side. See, if you were using a heat gun, it would be heating up too much of the material. You don't necessarily get that flat of a bend. We'll use our new GoPro to hold this. What this is going to give us the ability to do is take and mount our high level to low level here, and then that jack will ride across right through here and hold everything in place. All right, let's go take it into the car and test fit it. So we just need to cut off a little bit here for this little hump. Now, because this material is black, I like to use one of these white grease pencils to write on here so you can actually see what you're doing. Okay, so. All right, fits like a champ. Let's go ahead and take it over to the bench, put a bunch of wire into it. All right, so the amplifier is all set. The high level to low level is mounted here. Everything is zipped up nice and secure. We have our umbilical. It's going to run out into the car. Now what we'll do is this guy is going to screw down onto here, and the pressure from this will hold this in place. Not that this is going to go anywhere. So real quick, whether you like Kicker or not, or Rockford, or whatever brand out there that you like or not, it's okay. You know, if you don't like one brand or any, I don't care about any of that. What I want to talk to you about real quick is truth in advertising. And unfortunately in the 12 volt world, there is no such thing. Most companies out there, like if you guys have ever watched Old School Car Stereo, he does the SMD amp dynos, and he'll show you amps that suck, that say, you know, it's a 1500 watt amp and it puts out 350 watt. These amps, like this amp, the CX series Kicker amp, is a little bit more money than, let's say, your Planet Audio or your Audio Pipe or any of those. And some of you guys will say, oh, you know, this stuff is garbage. Well, it's a 1200 watt amp, and it's a true 1200 watt amp, meaning it comes with this guy right here. This is a birth certificate. This means that this amp was tested in some form or another, and it put out 1200 watts. Does your amp put out 1200 watts? Does that 1500 watt Planet Audio put out 1500 watts? Does that Audio Pipe or any other brand put out that? Now, when you buy the better brands, they give you this because they realize that there's a lot of companies out there that are lying to you. Hate a brand or not, it really doesn't matter. But if they're taking a stand and saying, hey, look, we stand behind our product, we test all our product, and we test it enough to show you that we test it, I don't know, in my book, that gives them one leg up. Just a thought. It's a thought. You don't have to comment. It's no big deal. It's just a thought. Back to the install. Alright, so here you go. We have the fuse holder mounted in place and attached to the battery. Another Fernando fancy fuse holder. What are you doing?
You know Snapchat?
Yeah.
When they have the big eyes?
Yeah.
If I get closer, I can have big eyes.
It's definitely the end of the day. It's so sad. Alright, so we went ahead and tightened this up, so now it's holding it in place. Nice and solid. You can see it back there, it's all out of the way. It's laying flat so it can breathe. And we can go ahead and close the seat down. Rock and roll, baby. We also went ahead and mounted the bass knob right there. Easy to get to.